Reddit user shared a bone-chilling image from their baby monitor that has left the internet shaken. The photo shows their child sleeping soundly in bed, but there's something else in the frame. Looming near the crib is a dark, shadowy figure, its arm eerily stretched toward the child. The user insists no one else was in the room. Stranger still, their usually alert dog, who barks at the slightest noise, was dead silent that night. To this day, no one has been able to explain what that figure was or how it got there. Without hesitation, the man leapt off the dock, but the second his body hit the cold water, a wave of regret hit even harder.
See if he can make it.
Speed up, doggy. Speed up.
You got it. You got it. You got it.
He thrashed toward the dock, adrenaline surging. But the water wasn't giving in. It pulled him back every time he got within reach, like it didn't want to let him go. Still, he pushed harder, every muscle burning. At last, with one final burst of strength, he grabbed hold of the dock and dragged himself out, soaked, trembling, but safe. And for a long moment, he just lay there, catching his breath and grateful to be back on solid ground. WWE wrestler Shiloh thought he'd seen it all until he stumbled across a disturbing corner of the dark web. It was a bizarre website called The Shoeman, a marketplace selling used, filthy shoes. But these weren't just any shoes. Each pair was tagged with a name and an age. No brands, no sizes, no descriptions, just a name and a number.
Alright, this right here is a shoe marketplace on the dark web, but something's off about it. The site is called The Shoeman, and it has like a bunch of shoes for sale, but every shoe has a name and an age, and the prices, actually that one's kind of normal. The prices are really weird. Like this was $160 for some muddy flip-flops, or $170 for a pair of shoes with the toe ripped off.
At first, Shiloh thought it was a twisted art project or some niche collector's market. But the prices made no sense. $160 for muddy flip-flops, $170 for a ripped-up sneaker, $189 for a single, worn-out boot with a pencil jammed inside. Something was off. Curious, and maybe a little reckless, Shiloh decided to order a pair labeled Juan 29. They happened to be in his size. The confirmation email was just as eerie, glitchy, ugly, and marked for delivery on June 2nd. Let's just see what shows up. Days later, a box labeled Fragile arrived at his P.O. box. But just as he grabbed the package, a loud noise echoed from his neighbor's apartment, not from the box. Weird, but he brushed it off.
And I think I know how it works now. So it came with a battery that if it was on the whole time should have probably only lasted it a couple days. But when I found it in the heel, it was still on. And I noticed when I was trying to get the code off the tracker that whenever I turned it on, after about an hour or two, it would shut back off. And I also noticed that the reset button is broken, but the power on button isn't. Now I figured out that the tracker was sending my location and possibly some audio to a phone number. But I got the person who has the phone number, and they claim that they're not the person who sent me the boots. They claim that they were trying to track the person who sent me the boots, but the person never put them on. And I didn't know what they meant by that for a while, but now I'm thinking that maybe the tracker was set up how it was in the heel of the boot, so that when you wore the boots, it pressed the power button.
Back home, Shiloh took precautions. Gloves on, hands scrubbed. Inside the box were the boots, old, filthy, and deeply unsettling. But that wasn't the worst part.
This is a clip of when I first found the tracker, and the power button I think is the highest point. Also the light is solid, which means it just turned on. And that would actually explain why it was on when I found it, but never turned on for the shoeman when he had them, because he never wore them, I guess. Anyways, that's my best theory as of now, so if anyone has any other ideas, let me know. Also, let me know what y'all think about that new batch of text, because I don't know what the rules are or more coming soon is or what.
Something was inside one of them. He didn't say what. Not yet. But he planned to go live on Twitch to talk about it. While waiting for forensic tools to arrive, Shiloh tried a homemade test using hydrogen peroxide. On clean areas, it fizzled out, but on the darker, more suspicious stains, it foamed. Was it blood? Possibly, but hydrogen peroxide gives false positives. So Shiloh ordered luminol, the chemical used by forensic teams to detect bloodstains. That, and a VHS player, because one of the boots had a tape stuffed inside. As of now, the contents of the tape remain unknown. The stains are still unconfirmed, and the shoeman is still live. Could these boots be linked to something far more sinister? Stay tuned. This person was out in the South African bush, celebrating a birthday dinner on October 2nd. Picture this, a magical outdoor setup, just trees, lantern light, and the sound of nature. Everything felt peaceful, until this person looked back at a photo from that night. At first glance, it seemed like a normal shot of friends around the dinner table, but then they spotted something. At the far end of the table stood a translucent figure, glowing, see-through. And the weirdest part? No one remembers anyone standing there when the picture was taken. No filters, no editing, straight from the phone, with only a few emojis covering faces for privacy. So now the question is, who or what was captured that night? Was it a ghost, or is there a logical explanation hiding in plain sight? On May 26, 2025, a man shared a chilling photo on X, claiming his tour guide had shown it to him during an off-the-grid adventure. In the image, one man walks casually toward the camera, while another snaps a flash photo, and that's when things get eerie. Just behind them, a towering humanoid figure with glowing eyes appears to be staring directly into the lens. Was it just a trick of the light? Pareidolia at play? Or did they accidentally capture Bigfoot lurking in the shadows? While hiking deep in the eerie wilderness of New York's Catskill Mountains, two adventurers made a chilling discovery: a hidden cave concealing a grotesque statue. It appeared hand-carved, with 6 rusted nails driven into its eyes and a grimy cord strangling its neck. The hikers described feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, yet, against their better judgment, they brought the statue home. They would soon regret it. Within days, their home was consumed by bizarre phenomena. Unexplained noises echoed through the halls, putrid smells hung in the air, and fleeting shadowy figures danced in the corners of their vision. The statue seemed to move on its own, and muddy footprints began appearing without cause. One night, they claimed to have seen a twisted humanoid figure crouched silently in the darkness. This sinister artifact came to be known as the crone. Eventually, it was transferred to a paranormal museum for safekeeping, but the chaos only followed. Staff reported sudden illnesses, violent seizures, and relentless disturbances. The crone was so disruptive, it had to be pulled from public view. Now there are plans to return it to the cave, its dark, rightful resting place. What began as a peaceful solo hike to a scenic waterfall quickly turned into something straight out of a horror movie.
Okay guys, I'm on a little hike right now, and just let's set the scene right here. Really fucking creepy. But there's this one man that's walking on this trail, and I'm like, this is really weird and creepy. And I pass him, he's like, "Excuse me, sir, do you know when you're gonna die?" Already I'm like, this is not the time or place to have this conversation. So I'm like, he's like, "I don't want to see in the news, like, you falling off the waterfall," because it's like a hike to the waterfall. So I'm already like sketched out. Ends up, he's like an evangelist, like a Christian or something. He's like, "Well, I'm praying for you. Your parents are praying for you." Because I told him my name was Caleb, and he's like, "Oh, a great name. The brother of Joshua or something." But I'm like, man, don't have these conversations in a place that looks like I'm about to be murdered. I mean, are you kidding me? Anyways, he's like still in the woods somewhere, so I'm trying to get out like ASAP.
He'd just passed a lone man on the path, nothing unusual, until the man stopped him and asked, "Excuse me, sir, do you know when you're going to die?" Completely thrown off, the hiker stammered a response, but the man wasn't done. He added, "I just don't want to see you in the news for falling off the waterfall." That last line hit hard. The trail wasn't known to be dangerous. No cliffs, no warnings posted, just a quiet path through the woods. Feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, the hiker turned back and left the area immediately. He wasn't about to stick around and find out what that guy meant. 3 years ago, someone was jolted by a blood-curdling scream outside their house. It pierced the night, echoing from the woods near a sharp drop that overlooked the highway, right across from an old cemetery. It sounded like a woman, terrified, desperate, crying out for help. Or at least, that's what they thought. Maybe it was just some wild animal, right? They called the police and even sent in a video of the sound, just in case. But no one ever followed up. No reports, no missing persons, nothing. And yet, that scream never returned, not once in the years since. If it was wildlife, why did it only happen that one night? And why does it still send chills down their spine to this day? On November 24th, 2021, the couple behind the account Follow Pete and Ash set off on what was supposed to be a quiet, peaceful retreat to a secluded cabin in the woods. But while filming a casual update for their followers, something unsettling happened.
It's gonna be harder to move through and keep quiet with all the leaves on the ground now.
When it snows, it might be easier to walk around out here.
Yeah.
Can we go home?
And just as panic started to set in, a chilling sound echoed through the trees, so strange and bone deep that they turned and ran without looking back. That was the last update. No follow-up, no explanation. Whatever or whoever was out there in those woods that day remains a mystery. This user recently had a heart-pounding moment at Crowder's Mountain. While strolling along a trail, they came within inches of stepping on a snake camouflaged at the base of a tree. Thankfully, they noticed it just in time, narrowly dodging what could have turned into a dangerous encounter. A woman was sitting in her truck when she glanced out the window and froze.
Oh my gosh! So what is that? What
the hell?
What she captured has divided the internet. Some are convinced it's a real ghost, while others say it's nothing more than a clumsy CGI hoax. The clip was originally posted by someone named Kendall Turner. But here's the weird part. There's no trace of her profile anywhere. So, what do you think? Real paranormal encounter, or just a viral stunt? A Reddit user recently posted an old family photo from a camping trip, and at first, it seemed like nothing out of the ordinary. But a strange smudge on one side of the image quickly caught attention. The user's mother was convinced it might be a ghostly figure, sparking a flurry of speculation in the comments. However, some sharp-eyed users pointed out that the eerie mark was likely just the result of moisture damage, possibly from being stored in an old photo album. The blur resembled a watermark or dye bleed, a common flaw in prints exposed to humidity or issues during development. While it stirred a bit of mystery, the most likely explanation? A perfectly natural photographic glitch. A man and his family were enjoying a peaceful winter hike through Queensland's Bunya Mountains National Park. They were about halfway through a 4-hour trail, having only passed a couple of groups earlier in the day. At one point, the man stopped to snap a photo of sunlight filtering dramatically through the dense forest. Later that evening, while flipping through the pictures, his daughter pointed out something unsettling, something they hadn't noticed at the time. In one of the shots, a woman in a black dress stood eerily still on the trail ahead of them. The image was crystal clear. But here's the strange part. They were certain no one had been there. They'd walked that exact stretch of the trail and hadn't seen a single soul. Disturbed, the man showed the photo to his boss the next day. Her face went pale. She quietly revealed that the year before, her daughter had experienced something chilling at that very spot. She claimed she felt an evil presence watching them from the trees. To this day, the hiker has no explanation for what appeared in that photo. But every time he looks at it, a cold shiver runs down his spine. While hiking through a quiet forest trail with a friend, someone stepped into a hidden clearing and instantly froze. Hanging from a tree was something so disturbing, so out of place, it sent a chill down their spine. No one could explain why it was there, and its eerie presence in such a remote spot only made it more haunting. They didn't dare get closer. Instead, they turned and walked away, hearts racing, completely unnerved by what they'd just seen. On July 12, 2013, what began as a peaceful family getaway to Otter Blue Ridge, Georgia, turned into something far more unsettling. A man documenting the trip for the Legends Beware channel captured footage that still haunts viewers to this day. While panning across the serene wooded landscape, his camera suddenly caught something unexpected, something lurking. Driven by curiosity and perhaps a touch of fear, he chased after the mysterious figure into the trees. That's when the creature let out a series of chilling, unearthly sounds. Skeptics were quick to dismiss it as a hoax, just a man in a costume, but others weren't so sure. They pointed to the creature's size, strange posture, and eerily smooth movements, suggesting it might be something more, like a juvenile Bigfoot. Hoax or horrifying encounter? At least someone finally dared to take a closer look. But one thing is certain, this wasn't your average family vacation. While tearing through the woods on his dirt bike, this man suddenly heard something that made his blood run cold. The sound of a baby crying, completely alone in the middle of nowhere. In many cultures, this chilling sound is believed to be a lure used by jinn or other supernatural entities. Others fear it could be a sinister trap, possibly tied to human trafficking. The haunting cries sparked a terrifying dilemma. Do you stop and investigate, risking your safety, or keep riding and live with the guilt of what you might have left behind? What would you have done? A hotel security manager in Illinois stumbled upon something truly chilling, and it all started with complaints about blood-curdling screams echoing from room 209. Here's the thing, no one was checked into that room. Worried, the manager radioed in.
And there's reports of screaming coming from that room. Amy, he's on his way down there right now. What's going on, John? There's no one checked into that room. There should be nobody in there. Wait 1 second, John. Amy, are you there?
That room is empty. Despite that, the screams persisted. The security officer, John, made his way down to investigate, and that's when things got weird.
Correct. John, just wait.
Dispatch urged him to wait for the police, but curiosity got the best of him. John opened the door, and what he found was straight out of a horror movie.
I'm gonna enter the room real quick just to check, make sure, see what's going on. Wait one. John? John, are you there? Okay, Amy, John wants you to call the police right now if you don't mind. He says no one's in there, but that all of the furniture's been turned upside down and the hold on. He says the carpet's been ripped up and the shower is on, but nobody's in there. Man, that's scary.
The room was a disaster zone. Furniture was flipped over. The carpet was ripped from the floor. The shower is running at full blast, but not a single soul inside. Even creepier, as he stepped in, a ghostly white shadow was caught on camera slipping out of the room. Some viewers swore they only saw one shadow. Others believe there were multiple spirits trapped inside. Though strange noises from room 209 have been reported for years, this remains the only footage ever captured. Evidence that something unexplainable may truly haunt that room. And to this day, no one knows who or what was screaming. A call came in about a disturbance at a newly constructed house. When the officer arrived, he quickly realized the homeowners weren't there. He did a full sweep of the property, room by room, corner by corner, but found nothing. It was empty, or so he thought. Still, something felt off. Trusting his gut, he headed back to his patrol car. But then he saw it, right there.
And now they're gone. Tell me how many nuts. And now they're back. You see it?
Someone was standing in the window, watching. At least he thought so. Was it just a trick of the light? A ghost? Or was someone hiding, just well enough to avoid being caught? One thing's for sure. Whatever it was, it didn't want to be found, and we may never know the truth. In the quiet food court of a closed mall, a security officer experienced something chilling during his nightly rounds. He reported hearing soft sobs echoing through the empty dining area. When he investigated, he found a little girl sitting alone, crying, scared, and strangely out of place. She told him she was looking for her mother. The odd part, she seemed only to acknowledge him. After a few minutes of gentle conversation, the officer left to alert his team. But when he returned, she had vanished, and his colleagues insisted there had been no one else in the area the entire night. So, who or what did he see? While working the night shift, this security guard experienced something truly bizarre, and it was all caught on camera. Was it a ghost, a glitch, or something else entirely? To this day, the guard has no explanation. But one thing's for sure, he knows what he saw. Two officers were out investigating in the dead of night after a passerby reported seeing something strange lurking near the roadside. As they scanned the darkness, they suddenly came face to face with something terrifying. A wave of fear hit them so hard, they instinctively backed away without a second thought. But when they returned to the same spot later to investigate further, Whatever they saw was completely gone, vanished without a trace. One night in Argentina, 2 security officers were combing through surveillance footage, trying to uncover clues about a chilling incident from the night before. For a while, everything looked normal, until something strange appeared on the screen.
Okay.
A mysterious figure emerged, calmly smoking, but the flames from her cigarette were far too large to be natural. Before they could make sense of it, the woman suddenly vanished, without a single trace. The officers were left stunned, their skin crawling. What did they just witness? And what happened that eerie night? On the night of November 22nd, 2022, police were dispatched to a house long rumored to be haunted. After confirming that no one was inside, they instructed the homeowner to remain outside while they conducted a thorough search. But as they moved through the dark, creaking halls, things quickly took a chilling turn.
Anyone inside?
Moments after entering, a door slammed shut behind them. Startling, but possibly just the wind. Or so they thought. Then came the eerie noises.
Police! Anyone inside, make yourself known.
As they made their way upstairs, one officer reported a heavy, unsettling presence, despite being completely alone. Downstairs had already been cleared. His breathing quickened. Panic began to set in. The search turned up nothing unusual, no intruders, no signs of forced entry, but the feeling of being watched lingered. As the officers exited the house, a haunting truth remained. Whatever was in there didn't want to be found. On July 8, 2023, chilling body cam footage surfaced, revealing what might be one of the eeriest police encounters ever recorded. An officer was responding to a routine noise complaint at an abandoned property known only as Site 422. What started as a standard sweep quickly spiraled into something straight out of a horror film. His body cam captured unexplained movement inside the house. Then, clear as day, a shadowy figure appeared in one of the windows. Moments later, strange and unsettling sounds echoed through the area.
I keep seeing shadows walking by. What the f***?
To this day, it's unclear whether he pressed forward or got out while he still could. One thing's for sure, Site 422 isn't just abandoned, it's hiding something. This eerie footage was captured by a CCTV camera inside the parking garage of a police station in Ecuador, and yes, it was officially released by the Ecuadorian police themselves. The video begins innocently enough. A security guard pulls in, parks his car, locks it, and walks off to start his shift. But then, something strange happens. The car suddenly begins to roll forward, on its own. No keys in the ignition. No one is behind the wheel. Just an empty car moving by itself. The creepy incident has sparked a wave of stories from officers who've experienced unsettling moments in that same garage. So now the big question is this just a mechanical glitch, or is the garage haunted? Reddit user Brass Ninja was doing a routine security check at a property that now serves as an office for a real estate firm. Locals have long whispered that the building is haunted, and what she caught on camera might finally prove them right. The audio's faint, so you'll want to crank up the volume.
What the fuck? Okay, it straight up sounds like there's somebody fucking upstairs. And there's nobody here.
While inspecting the basement, she noticed something odd. A light was on that shouldn't have been, but as she moved in to switch it off, things took a chilling turn. It sounds exactly like someone is walking around upstairs. Heavy footsteps, furniture scraping across the floor. The only problem? She was completely alone. She had already cleared the building, top to bottom. Not a single soul in sight. Even creepier, she's not the only one who's felt something off. Several co-workers have had their unsettling encounters in that very office. So now the question is, what's going on in that building? A woman walked into a police station in Trstenik, Serbia, visibly shaken. She claimed that something had been following her on her way to the town fair, not on foot, but leaping from one streetlight to another. Officers listened, puzzled by the strange report. After filing her complaint, the woman left, leaving behind more questions than answers. But what happened next stunned them all. Later that evening, one officer caught a glimpse of something strange in the shadows above.
Koliko prate? Evo, lepo na ovome.
Evo, uđe dežurno.
Evo, ti je lakše, mislim. Mene Nikola napravio ispravo.
Nije u dežurnu, dole ode. Trojku kod mene.
Uvatio ga.
Niko je toliko dole da...
Gledaj sad, evo ti, gledaj sad.
Izađe kao iz zida.
I sad u dežurno uđe.
To mi žena jedna tako pričala da nju pratila.
Alarmed, he called over his colleagues. As they stared in disbelief, they realized this might be exactly what the woman had warned them about. But when they moved in for a closer look, whatever it was had vanished. On May 17th, 2006, something truly bizarre was captured on camera, soaring above the mountains of Mexico. The eerie footage revealed a strange figure that seemed to be wearing a cape, prompting some to claim they had just witnessed a witch in flight. The plot thickened when two police officers stepped forward, saying they had seen the same mysterious figure that very day. As the video made its rounds, believers were convinced it was a supernatural encounter, but skeptics were quick to dismiss it, chalking it up to nothing more than a bunch of balloons floating in the sky. Yet, for those who saw it with their own eyes, it was anything but ordinary. A few months back, something strange happened at a local bar, something no one could explain. In the dead of night, every single security alarm went off at once.
Dude, I'm so happy I saw that.
The person reviewing the footage was stunned. On playback, every camera glitched at the same moment, as if something invisible had triggered them all. But when they checked the footage from outside, no one was there, not a soul. The system automatically called the police. But here's the creepy part. Can it be called a glitch if every camera freaked out at the same time? The guy reviewing the footage had only been working there for 3 months. His co-workers always joked that the bar was haunted, something he laughed off, until he found out the chilling truth behind those rumors. During his routine patrol, a security guard came to a sudden halt in one of the aisles. Surveillance footage showed him standing alone, speaking softly, and gesturing as if comforting someone. Later, he claimed he saw a little girl crying, and he was trying to calm her down, telling her to wait for her mother. But when the entire market was searched from top to bottom, there was no sign of any child. So, who or what did he see that night? A group of friends were out fishing on the ocean, just enjoying a regular day, until something insane happened.
What the what? The shark just jumped into the fucking boat! What? Okay, watch out. We do not want to get clipped by that one. Oh my god! Holy phone, dude! Oh my god, look at the fiberglass, bro! Holy crap!
Out of nowhere, a shark launched itself out of the water and straight into their boat. Yes, you heard that right. It didn't just swim by or circle them ominously. It jumped into the boat. Chaos erupts.
Jumped out of the freaking water into the boat! Oh my god. Holy shit. You just smoked me in the fucking hole. Are you okay, bro? Shit. Holy crap. Out to the frame, dude. He jumped right over me. He jumped over you, bro. Oh my god. Bro. Shit. Was this what you were fighting the whole time? No, no way. No,
The shark didn't just scare them, it took out their gear. 2 fishing rods were gone. The trolling motor was knocked loose and went overboard. 1 second they were fishing. The next, they were dodging a flying shark. Miraculously, no one was hurt, but everyone was shaken. So now the question is, what would you do if a shark just jumped into your boat? This man was exploring a haunted waterfall when he unknowingly captured something chilling on camera. For just a brief moment, a dark figure appears, then vanishes without a trace. Viewers noticed it looks eerily like a person standing near the falls. The first time the camera pans down, everything seems normal. But the second glance reveals the shadowy presence, and by the third, it's completely gone. So, was it just a trick of the light, or did he catch something paranormal lurking in the mist? While fishing on Wisconsin's Wolf River, a group of anglers stumbled upon something that left them stunned, and it's all on video. As they cast their lines, a mysterious figure darted through the water, moving with a grace and speed eerily similar to that of a human swimmer. Could it have been a mermaid? Skeptics were quick to chime in, suggesting it might have been a dolphin or a seal. But here's the twist. Those creatures don't live in the freshwater currents of the Wolf River. Locals were baffled, and while the footage captured the strange encounter, the poor video quality only added to the mystery. So the question remains, did these anglers witness a real-life mermaid, or was it something else entirely? Reddit user Kind and a friend were enjoying a peaceful evening at a local lake park around 8 p.m. when things took an eerie turn. While casually snapping photos, one of them suddenly noticed a strange, floating shape appear on the screen. The odd part? There was no one else around, and the area was completely fenced off. Was it just a trick of the light, a camera glitch, or something more chilling, like an apparition drifting through the night? You're not going to believe what these fishermen from Yuka, Russia, stumbled upon. While casting their lines along a remote riverbank, they uncovered something straight out of the Ice Age, massive mammoth tusks buried beneath the mud. In this part of Russia, It's not uncommon for locals to scour riverbanks, hoping to strike it rich. Why? Because mammoth tusks are worth a fortune. Nature sometimes reveals these prehistoric treasures when you least expect it. While a group of friends were scuba diving, the unthinkable happened. An earthquake struck beneath them. Suddenly, the calm blue turned chaotic. The ocean floor began to tremble violently, releasing clouds of bubbles and debris that shot upward like underwater fireworks. Panic set in as one diver, holding a camera on the right, was yanked away by the sheer force of the quake. For a split second, it looked like he'd vanish into the deep until he managed to grab onto a coral, barely saving himself. It was a heart-pounding moment underwater, but miraculously, everyone surfaced safely. While magnet fishing one day, Reddit user Motor City Magnetfish thought he'd pulled up just another jar full of rocks and water. But what he discovered inside wasn't ordinary at all. There was no liquid, just a folded note. At first, he thought it might be a spell. But then he started to read.
Those rubber gloves. That's what I need. Oops. But those are up in the truck. Oh man. These gloves are not made for delicate work. Ooh, we're gonna be able to read this one. Nice. Oh, you know what? I think it's a poem. I don't think this is a spell. I just saw something about loves. Dear, oh no. Dear Daddy, I wish you can come back and stay. I wish you never died so we could have spent more time together. And now it feels like I have no one. I wish that if you were alive, I could have everybody. I feel nobody loves me. Love, Journey. Okay. Oh, that's heartbreaking.
It is devastating. Oh my gosh.
Dude, I got chills. Oh man. Oh man, I feel like it's gotta go back. But I can't. Oh. Sorry, Journey. I won't put the spell stuff back, but that's
going back.
That's so sad. Alright. Oh, dude. I'm sorry, Journey. I hope you don't see this video.
After sharing the footage online, something incredible happened. Journey and her family saw the video. They explained the jar had been in the water for over a decade, a tribute to her late father. Her grandmother reached out, saying the video brought back beautiful memories, and thanked him for honoring it by returning it to the river. A random pull from the river turned into a powerful reminder of love, loss, and the deep emotions we leave behind, even in the most unexpected places. On October 15th, 2024, popular kayak fisherman Kayakero, well known for his thrilling fishing videos, had an unexpected and chilling experience while out on the water. He and a group of friends were enjoying a fishing trip at the Salto Grande Reservoir in São Paulo, Brazil, when a strange, foul odor caught their attention. At first, they brushed it off, thinking it might be a nearby capybara, but curiosity got the better of them. Will, the man behind the Kayakero channel, decided to paddle closer and investigate. What he found left everyone in shock: a human body floating in the water, still wearing shoes. Without hesitation, he contacted local authorities and waited on the scene until they arrived.
Chato, né? Mas fazer o quê? Ligar. Rapaz, a hora que eu olhei assim, eu falei, mas tá muito engrugido. Por isso que eu falei pra você, tá muito grande pra ser um... Eu falei, olha, mas eu já suspeitei na hora. Aí a hora que eu levantei assim, o pé.
Out of respect for the victim and the ongoing investigation, Will made the choice not to film the authorities' response. However, he did share a video recounting the incident, which quickly went viral and was picked up by news outlets the same day. Who was the person, and how did they end up there? That part remains a mystery. Scuba divers were filming fish when something unexpected happened. A lightning bolt struck the water's surface above them, unleashing a shockwave that roared through the depths like an underwater explosion. The sound, amplified by the unique way it travels underwater, was deafening. One diver, with 25 years of experience, likened the experience to being slammed by a speeding truck, leaving him so rattled he couldn't dive for days. Miraculously, despite the sheer force of nature, the divers escaped without any serious injuries. In 2016, a family was enjoying a peaceful day fishing near Wild Horse Lake, nestled deep within Oregon's remote Steens mountain range. But what they didn't notice sent chills down their spines later. Behind them, just out of focus, something massive moved.
2016, Wild Horse Lake. Made her down here now, just make her out.
Dad, what is that?
Wow, what is that? A bear. Stay low. What is it?
But by the time he tried to snap a photo, whatever it was had vanished into the dense wilderness. Thankfully, one of his daughters managed to capture a blurry but chilling image of the creature. Steens Mountain, known for its vast forests and isolation, has long been whispered about in tales of elusive beings, especially Bigfoot. Skeptics were quick to dismiss the photo, calling it a misidentified hiker. But if you take a closer look, it doesn't move or look like just a person. On January, suddenly the buffalo became agitated, locking eyes with the nearby group. The woman and fellow passengers panicked, screaming as the buffalo closed in. Some even lost their balance in the chaos. It looked like the buffalo might stop at the water's edge, but it didn't. It kept coming. Incredibly, just when it seemed like danger was inevitable, the buffalo veered off and left everyone unharmed. What started as a quiet sighting turned into an unforgettable brush with the wild. A group of friends were out enjoying a perfect day on the water when things took a chilling turn. Out of nowhere, a curious alligator surfaced and crept toward their launch, lifting its head as if trying to get a better look. But just as the tension peaked, the video suddenly cut off. And now, we're all left asking the same question. What happened next? This man was simply enjoying a peaceful morning by a quiet lake on Vancouver Island. The water was like glass, still and undisturbed. As he snapped the first photo, something strange happened. Ripples appeared on the surface, but there was no wind, no fish, and no visible cause at all. Confused, he took another photo just seconds later. That's when things got truly eerie. On the left side of the image, a faint figure appeared, partially reflected in the water. The sunlight bounced off its head, casting an unnatural glow, almost like a ghostly presence watching from the edge. Then he took a third photo. Nothing. No ripples. No figure. Just silence and stillness. All three photos were taken in rapid succession. No editing, no tricks. Just a haunting mystery with no clear explanation. So, what exactly did he capture that morning? Out in the open sea, a group of fishermen noticed something strange bobbing on the waves. As they drew closer, their curiosity turned to shock. A young girl was drifting alone on a unicorn float, eerily calm in the endless blue. Instantly, a recent missing child alert from a nearby beach sprang to mind. It all made sense. She must have floated away while playing, completely unaware of the danger. Without hesitation, the fishermen steered toward her with care, managing to bring her safely aboard. Thanks to their quick thinking, the girl was soon reunited with her worried family, turning what could have been a tragedy into a story of rescue and relief. A group of friends thought they had the perfect beach day when they reeled in a shark and snapped a photo to capture the moment. But later, while scrolling through the pictures, they spotted something chilling. Standing in the background was the eerie figure of a little girl, pale, still, out of place. One commenter swore they'd seen the photo discussed on a paranormal podcast. The host claimed the beach was the site of a tragic plane crash, not years ago, but recently. He went on to say the area is so drenched in restless energy that even seasoned mediums steer clear. According to him, the spirits there don't even realize they've died. What's more disturbing? He pointed out that the girl in the image looked burned and disheveled, as if she walked straight out of that wreckage. People have tried digging up answers, searching records, debunking the story. But the truth? It's still out there, lurking just beneath the surface. A year after losing their father, two brothers began a quiet tradition, meeting before dawn outside their childhood home just to reflect, reconnect, and feel close to the past. One foggy morning, they decided to take a few photos of the old house, each using their phone. But when they looked at the pictures later, something chilling stood out. In multiple shots, on both devices, a dark figure appeared near the house. The gate was locked, the yard empty, and no one else had been there, just the two of them. Their father used to say he wanted his ashes scattered in the yard so he could stay there forever. Maybe he did. To this day, no matter how many times they've tried, they've never been able to recreate the figure or explain it. A man living deep in the Appalachian region had only stepped away from his parked car for a moment, but when he returned, the driver's side window was shattered. Oddly enough, nothing had been stolen. Instead, something had been left behind. A dark, twisted briar root resting neatly on the front seat. Most people would panic about the broken glass, but not him. It was that root that made his stomach drop.
Or shattered window that shook him. No, what haunted him was what was left behind. Nestled on the seat, twisted, gnarled, and wrong, was what many believe to be a briar root, or as some call it, a witch's briar. One comment reads, "You must have offended the wrong person." Another, "That's an Appalachian parking ticket." But the theories only get darker. Some warn it's an omen, used in folk magic to summon misfortune, even death. One user asked, "Why would you touch that?" While another simply said, "They've cursed you." And here's the eerie part. The creator didn't throw it away. He kept it on a shelf in his room, as if this root, this offering, this warning, was waiting for something, or someone. Some called it a blessing. Others said, "You need to consult a root worker, this is just the beginning."
You see, in Appalachian folklore, briar roots aren't just plants, they're powerful symbols. They can be used in spells for protection, or to curse. And the way this one was placed, almost like a warning, he didn't need anyone to tell him which it was. This wasn't just vandalism. This felt personal, supernatural, like someone had marked him. While visiting the cliffs of Moher in Ireland last November, a Reddit user snapped a series of scenic photos on a cold, windy day. The skies were clear enough to capture distant tourists bundled in thick jackets and woolly beanies, typical winter snapshots. But when she looked back through her pictures later, something didn't add up. In one photo, everything appeared normal. But in the next frame, a strange figure had suddenly appeared, with tall, unnaturally thin legs and what looked like an odd-shaped hat. It wasn't like any person she'd seen there, and she swore it wasn't in front of her when she took the photo. Even more unsettling? A few shots later, a second figure showed up, this one standing motionless at the top of a nearby staircase. Everyone else in the shot looked completely normal, dressed appropriately for the icy wind. But this thing, it was different. Office wrong. She shared the images on Reddit, hoping for answers. Some suggested it was a trick of the light or a glitch in the camera, but others weren't so sure. After all, she hadn't seen anything strange in person, only the camera had. And somehow, that makes it even creepier. While exploring an abandoned hotel tucked deep in the shadowy Shenandoah Mountains, a group of adventurers made a chilling discovery. Behind the crumbling property, They stumbled upon an old, weather-beaten shed, out of place, yet eerily intact. Inside, the walls were plastered with missing person posters, faded newspapers, and mugshots of local arrests, each one pinned with disturbing precision. Even more unsettling, bed sheets had been nailed across the interior walls, as if someone had tried to muffle sound or hide something sinister. Next to the shed sat a sealed barrel, weighed down with a concrete block. At first glance, it screamed danger, but when opened, it revealed only a red liquid, possibly transmission fluid or some unknown chemical. Still, the scene felt more like the lair of a serial killer than an innocent storage shack. To this day, no one knows who was behind it, or why it was ever built. It was late at night when a man riding his motorbike slammed on the brakes. There, right in the middle of an empty road, stood a woman. Alone, silent, still. She didn't call out, didn't signal for help. She just started walking, slowly and eerily, straight down the center of the road. The entire area was dead quiet, deserted. Curious but uneasy, he crept forward. And then, without any warning, she suddenly turned and ran. But why? What was she doing there in the first place? If she were just an ordinary woman, something wasn't right. But if she wasn't, then what did he witness that night? While walking alone on a quiet forest road, a Reddit user stumbled upon something unsettling. Several unopened IV fluid bags were scattered near the sidewalk under a lone streetlight. There were no hospitals nearby, no ambulances, no signs of medical personnel, just sterile medical supplies lying abandoned in the middle of nowhere. It wasn't just random litter either. Commenters quickly pieced the story together. The fluids were likely part of a home delivery for a ventilator patient. The leading theory? A package thief, often called a porch pirate, stole the shipment, hoping for something valuable, only to toss it once they realized it couldn't be resold. A chilling reminder that one careless act of theft could put someone's life at serious risk. A man set up a trail camera deep in the woods on his property, expecting to catch footage of deer or maybe a bear. But what he captured instead was anything but ordinary. The footage showed a group of armed soldiers creeping through the forest, weapons ready, eyes scanning every shadow like they were hunting something or someone. Why were they there? Was it a covert military exercise, a high-stakes manhunt, or something far more mysterious? To this day, no one has the answers. Late one night, a security guard was monitoring the CCTV of a massive isolated warehouse when something chilling caught his eye. A lone woman in white, silently drifting across the loading dock. The facility was on total lockdown. No staff, no visitors. There's no reason for anyone to be there. Shaken, the guard rushed outside to investigate, but the lot was empty, silent, not a soul in sight. Some say it was just a trespasser in a dress. Others insist it was something far more unsettling, a ghost caught on camera. Whatever the truth is, one thing's for sure. She was there when no one else should have been. Last month, dazzling fireballs streaked across the skies of the southeastern United States. But in Williamston, South Carolina, things got a lot more personal for one man. M.D. Murphy stepped outside his home and froze. Right there in his driveway was a gaping hole, about 3 feet wide, and something had clearly slammed into the ground with serious force.
The hole is about 2 foot in diameter. And that's the hole in my driveway. I don't know.
Whatever it was had punched straight through like a missile, leaving behind a trail of destruction and a mystery. At first, Murphy didn't dare get too close. Was it radioactive? Was it even safe? Fortunately, no one was hurt. But the bizarre impact left one burning question. What exactly came crashing down from the sky? A group of friends went camping deep in the woods, filming their trip like any ordinary adventure. The night was filled with laughter and the crackle of the bonfire. But when they later reviewed the footage, something chilling stood out. As the camera panned across the group, a shadowy figure suddenly flickered into view, just for a second, gliding past the fire before melting into the darkness. No one had seen it in person. No one reacted. Some viewers brushed it off as a trick of the lens, but others are convinced they captured something far more disturbing. What do you see? It was just after 11 p.m. when a motion alert lit up a family's phone. Their indoor security camera had picked up strange movement, considering they were miles away on vacation. Curious, they opened the footage, and what they saw chilled them to the bone. A small child was quietly wandering through their yard, limping past the living room window. The child clutched their lower back like they were in pain. But here's the truly disturbing part. The house is isolated, hidden deep in the woods, with no neighbors for miles and no easy access from the main road. Desperate for answers, the homeowners scoured the local news for reports of a missing child, but there was nothing. No alerts, no investigations, no explanations. To this day, no one knows who that child was, or how they ended up in that remote backyard. While out walking his dog through a quiet patch of forest, a man stumbled upon something deeply unsettling. In a small clearing sat an inverted pentagram, perfectly centered and surrounded by seashells, red and white candles, and carefully placed bones, all arranged with chilling precision. It wasn't some haphazard mess. Whoever created it had taken their time. Was it a ritual site? A twisted art installation? Or just someone's idea of a sick joke? No one knows. The forest felt unnaturally still, as if holding its breath. And when he returned days later, the entire shrine had vanished, without a trace. When the Curson Dam burst, the devastation wasn't limited to the raging floods. It revealed something far more chilling. As the floodwaters receded and the reservoir dried, human skulls began to surface from the cracked earth. These weren't recent casualties. They were remnants of the harrowing World War II Battle of Dnipro, buried deep beneath layers of silt and silence for decades. Now exposed to the light, they told a haunting story long forgotten until now. After a peaceful night of camping, a man was packing up and getting ready to hit the trail again. As he reached down to slip on his hiking shoe, something caught his eye, just in time. Nestled deep inside was a snake, curled up like it owned the place. Turns out, it was a non-venomous juvenile rat snake.
അവിടെ എപ്പടി இதாத்தான் இருக்கும் அது சுருண்டு படுத்துட்டு இருக்குது
பாரு அன்னைக்கு வந்தது இவ்வளவு பெருசா
இதை விட பெருசுங்க அன்னைக்கு வந்தது இப்ப பார்த்ததானே இந்த மாதிரி தான் இருக்கு
The man stayed calm, treating it like no big deal. But imagine if he hadn't looked first. That surprise could have been a whole different story. While hiking back from Shoe Lake Bothy, just 4 miles from Lochinver, under a crisp, crystal-clear morning sky, a seasoned hiker paused to snap a photo of the breathtaking, isolated landscape. But later, while reviewing the image, something odd caught his eye. Something off. He was 99% certain no one else had been on the trail. With that level of visibility, there's no way someone could have been missed. And yet, what appeared in the photo still defies explanation. He can't figure it out to this day. A group of women headed out to a remote lake for a birthday getaway. Just them, no kids, no distractions. That night, they gathered around the fire and snapped a group photo to capture the memory. But when they looked at the picture later, something chilling caught their eye. Nestled between the group, right beside a blonde woman in camo leggings, was the unmistakable face of a child. The only problem? No one brought a child. No one knew the child. And here's where it gets creepier. The image was a live photo sent through iMessage, meaning it included a brief motion clip. That's not easy to fake. So the question remains, who or what was with them that night in the woods? In September 2024, Hurricane Helen made landfall on the East Coast with devastating force. High up in the mountains, Alicia and her family were hunkered down, watching as water surged downhill behind their home. Alicia grabbed her phone and started filming, but within seconds, everything changed.
Oh, shit. Get in the house. Oh, shit. Go, get in. Get there. You try it down?
What began as rushing water suddenly morphed into a violent mudslide. Trees snapped like twigs, boulders thundered down the slope, and debris the size of cars barreled straight toward their home. There was no time to run. Miraculously, everyone survived. Though the land around them was wrecked and their yard unrecognizable, the house, battered and bruised, stood its ground. With nothing but grit, determination, and the kindness of volunteers and strangers, Alicia's family began the slow process of rebuilding their lives, one piece of debris at a time. While hiking near the railroad tracks in Mission Park, San Antonio, a man snapped a quick photo, but what he saw later left him speechless. When he reviewed the image, 2 mysterious figures appeared in the distance, standing eerily still. Locals have long whispered tales of ghostly children who push stalled cars off the tracks, but this was something entirely different. Confused and unsettled, unsure if he'd captured a trick of the light or something truly supernatural, he posted the photo online, and the internet hasn't stopped talking about it since. While camping near a quiet beach, a Reddit user stumbled upon something truly bizarre. A strange white creature floating in the shallow water. It didn't look like anything they'd ever seen before. Some viewers guessed it was just a discarded toy, while others thought it might be a seal or even a severed animal head. A few eagle-eyed commenters suggested it resembled a rare sea creature known as the pufferfish. But to this day, no one has been able to identify it for sure. What began as a beautiful sunlit day at Lake Tahoe took a deadly turn. Within just 10 minutes, A sudden and violent snowstorm engulfed the lake, transforming clear skies into a blinding whiteout. 8 lives were tragically lost that day. But the most chilling part? Guests in cabin 19 at Cedar Glen Lodge captured the storm on video and spotted something they weren't expecting. Amid the swirling snow, a dark shadow streaked by at an unnaturally fast speed. Was it a spirit caught on camera? Or is there a more logical explanation? You decide. About 10 years ago, a Reddit user shared a seemingly ordinary family trip to a nearby lake. Just a fun day in the sun with the kids. But when they got home and started flipping through the photos, one image stopped them cold. In the picture, a distinct shadow of a hand was visible on their niece's back. The eerie part? No one was standing near her at the time. Even stranger, the angle of the shadow made no sense. If it belonged to a person, more of the arm should have been visible, maybe even part of their body or head. To this day, the family can't explain what they captured in that photo, and the mystery still haunts them. A couple renting a vacation home had no idea their quiet getaway was about to get seriously creepy. One night, just before 9 p.m., they spotted a flickering light coming from the abandoned house next door. Naturally, curiosity got the better of them.
This is the weird stuff that happens in your backyard, guys. Sunday night. What time is it, Dustin? Almost 9 o'clock. I have this on video. A true light bulb on the back of your house. No, wait, that might be your motion light.
They hadn't seen a single soul near that rundown house all weekend. No signs of life. Yet the motion light kept flickering on. So the question lingers. What was out there tripping that light? And more importantly, what did they almost see? While away on vacation, a homeowner casually checked the live feed from his backdoor camera. But then he paused. In one frame, something felt off. There, crouched low and staring directly into the lens, was a dark, shadowy figure. Its posture didn't look human or animal, and the eyes? They glowed in a way that sent chills down his spine. Some quickly dismissed it as a stray dog caught at the perfect angle, but others? They aren't so sure. Was it just a dog, or did something else wander into that yard? In 1999, a mother snapped a photo of her young son during what seemed like a quiet afternoon at a nearly empty park in New Jersey. Her son had been unusually distressed that day, crying nonstop for reasons she couldn't explain. She was certain they were alone, but when the film was developed, her heart sank. There, in the background of the photo, stood a tall, human-like figure, long hair draping over its shoulders, and what looked like an object clutched in its hand. The rest of the photo was perfectly ordinary. Yet that figure, it didn't belong. She swears no one was near them. So how could something, or someone, be that close without her ever noticing? Did the camera catch a moment that wasn't meant to be seen, or something far more terrifying? Deep in the heart of a dark, overgrown forest, someone set up a trail camera to catch glimpses of wildlife. But what the footage captured was far from ordinary. In one eerie frame, a woman in a flowing white dress appeared, standing still, staring straight into the lens. Stranger still, she seemed to have antlers growing from her head. Then, just 40 minutes later, she was gone, vanished without a trace. If this happened, It's the stuff of nightmares. But something about the photo feels off. Too cinematic. Too perfect. Maybe it was staged, or maybe we just weren't meant to understand what we saw. Just after midnight, a thunderous knock shattered the silence at a secluded countryside home. The family inside, uneasy from the timing, chose not to respond. The front gate was locked, like always. Wanting answers, they checked their security cameras. But oddly, no one had come to the door. Not once. Shrugging it off as a glitch or maybe a prank, they tried to go back to sleep. That's when their 3 dogs suddenly tensed, growled low, and then bolted toward the back of the house. Seconds later, the dogs came scrambling back, whimpering, frantic, clawing at the door, desperate to get in. Something had scared them. Badly. The homeowner stepped outside, scanning the yard, and that's when he saw it. A tall, shadowy figure, standing completely still at the tree line, unmoving, watching. He quickly unlocked his truck, triggering the lights to illuminate the area. But the figure didn't budge, not even an inch. So the question is, what or who was out there that night? A TikTok user recently shared chilling footage from a remote cabin in Oregon, one her sister had been renovating. But from the very beginning, something about the place felt wrong. Doors creaked open without reason, cold spots lingered in the air, and strange sounds echoed through empty rooms. Then came the moment that left viewers shaken. While sitting in her car just outside the cabin, the sister suddenly heard something unexpected. A landline phone ringing inside the supposedly empty house. Curious and unnerved, she pulled out her phone and started recording. What she captured next defied explanation.
So, there's nothing hanging there. Fucking, what the fuck is that? It's creepy. It's gotta be something. I don't know what. What the fuck? It just fucking, what the fuck? What the
That porch, like that's where the door, okay, that's the door. Right there. It's black. There's nothing in the door. There's nothing in the door right now, anyway. This is the outside of one part of it. Yeah, this place is just, it's insane. Okay, so here's the end. Okay, everything scares me. It's getting dark and I don't like being even right here. Yeah, this is the inside. I mean, just look at like, there's like, the sink is like 1950s. The stove is 1950s something. Yeah, this place is just, so it was a husband and wife who lived here. The husband died, I believe, first. I'm getting out of here. When it's in more daylight, I'll show you the inside better.
What is that? A dark figure glided across the upper balcony. Not a shadow, not a person. It moved too fluidly, too deliberately, like it was alive. Viewers quickly dubbed it a shadow figure. Some claimed it looked like a woman in black. But according to the uploader, no one else was there. The area was remote and the parking was limited. If anyone had shown up, they would have noticed. And she'd been alone all day. Inside, the cabin was frozen in time and just as disturbing. Rotting wood, a 1950s stove, and a sink straight out of a horror film. Old handwritten notes from someone named Emily were still lying around. According to local whispers, a married couple had once lived there. Both had died. The details? Murky at best. One clip shows the infamous doorway, the same one the figure appeared. To this day, no one knows what they saw on that balcony. So now we ask, who or what was watching them from above? One night, a farmer glanced out his window and spotted something unusual moving in the distance. Curious and uneasy, he reviewed the security footage, and what he saw sent a chill down his spine. A lone figure, draped in what looked like a long gown, was slowly gliding across his land. There was no flashlight, no source of light at all, and yet they navigated the pitch-black, uneven terrain with eerie ease, never stumbling, never hesitating. Who or what could move like that in total darkness? And more importantly, why were they there at all? While out on a family trip in Oregon, things took a terrifying turn. Just up ahead, someone suddenly stepped into the road, deliberately blocking their path. Instantly sensing danger, the driver didn't waste a second. They slammed the car into reverse and floored it. Tires screeched as they raced backward, barely escaping what could have been a deadly encounter. One moment of hesitation, and this story might have ended very differently. Thankfully, they got away, shaken, but safe. Jennifer and her friend were at a late-night party on the edge of a quiet Mexican town. As midnight passed, the music faded and their curiosity grew. They couldn't resist testing the old legend, the one locals whispered about for generations. A ghostly woman in white, forever roaming the roads, weeping in the dark. As the night grew quieter, nearby dogs suddenly began barking, restless and wild. Laughing nervously, Jennifer brushed it off until the barking grew louder and sharper, as if warning them. That's when she saw it.
Ay, mira, mira. Ay, no mames. Ay, no. A ver, enfoca. Es que se borra. Mira, lo acerco y se borra, mira. ¿Qué es? Uy, uy. No mames. Ay, no. Ay, no chingues. ¿Dónde? Mira, 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 mira. Mira, 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 mira. Mira. Uy, está gritando. No mames. No chingues. Mira. Se perdió. Es que está oscuro. A ver. Mira, mira, se mira. Sí, sí, sí. Entre los... Pero se...
A pale figure, dressed in white, emerged from the shadows, motionless, haunting. And in the silence they heard it, a faint sound, soft and sorrowful. Someone crying. Was it just a trick of the night? Or had they come face to face with La Llorona? What started as a carefree monthly hike quickly spiraled into something far more chilling. The girls had paused on the trail, snapping photos, sharing laughs, just enjoying the moment for social media. But the mood shifted the second they resumed walking.
My girlfriends and I recently decided to start doing a group hike like once a month, just us girls. We stopped on the trail for about 5 minutes to get some content for social media. We were taking selfies, filming, laughing. We were having a great time, didn't think twice, and started to proceed on our trail. This is when my worst fear happened. As you can see, my girlfriend is filming and I clearly stop in my tracks and notice this man come out of the bush. He looked a little disoriented. He was not a hiker. He was in jeans, no water, no backpack. He has his hands in his pockets. I immediately think of the Lakeland Riley case and I go into fight or flight. At this moment, my girlfriend stopped filming. You guys, I normally pack, and this day I decided not to, thinking I was safe with my 2 other girlfriends. Immediately, I get that gut feeling as he's approaching us, and I start talking about how my girlfriend's husband is behind us and how there are men waiting for us, and immediately I take a 180 on the trail. As soon as I turn around, I see another man come out of the bush behind us. We continued talking about the men that were waiting for us, and calmly but quickly made it back to the car. We were followed by the hoodie guy, but we did make it back safely, thank Jesus.
A man stood ahead on the path. He wasn't dressed like a hiker, and something about him felt wrong. Before they could make sense of it, another man stepped out from the trees behind them. No words were exchanged, just instinct. They bolted back to their car, hearts pounding, breath short, but safe. Still, one haunting thought lingered. What if they hadn't run? A family was hiking along a rugged trail in the Teton range when nature turned on them in an instant.
Ow! Look at this hail! Oh my God, this is huge! Ow! Ow!
Without warning, the sky went dark, and a violent hailstorm exploded overhead. Chunks of ice pelted down like bullets, forcing the family to sprint for cover, but there was none in sight. Panic set in as the storm raged, each second feeling longer than the last. Thankfully, the hail passed as quickly as it came, and miraculously, everyone made it out unharmed. She was unwinding in her room, the house silent in the dead of night, until a strange sound echoed from the far side of the house. At first, she brushed it off. Probably her husband, right? But then it hit her. He wasn't even home tonight. The noise came again, louder this time, and closer. That's when the fear set in.
It's the middle of the night. Does anybody else have a problem when they wear these at night? Like, they don't stay on? Baby? She's not even home. Okay. Did y'all hear that? See what I mean? Can't even.
She wasn't alone. To this day, no one knows if it was an animal, an intruder, or something far more unsettling. The mystery remains. If you liked that video, make sure to check out the Dare to Watch YouTube channel, where we have tons of videos just like this. And if you want to see our latest scary hiking encounters, make sure to click subscribe so you'll get notifications.